Hey guys, how are you? We're doing our month 3, week 1 challenge. So, as you can see behind me, I hope that this is clear. I am actually in Montana. I'm here on a business trip where I'm just learning all these wonderful things and I needed to do our week challenge from the beautiful mountains of Montana. So I'm not sure how well you can see behind me, but and the audio is not going to be that great or the video, but I just, this is where I got to be. So, what I want to say to you guys today is we're going to be talking about thought and the power of thought. And I hope that I can get across to you the insurmountable power that thought has in our life. It's kind of like the idea that we are carrying this unbelievably creative power within us that we're unaware of. And it's a divine power. And I do believe, I'm a person of faith, and I do believe that it's given to us by God. And what it is that is so interesting about thought is that thought is it creates. And as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So thoughts that are thought repetitiously become a belief system. And belief systems, like we talked about, the core beliefs, are the thing that generate and fuel the thoughts that you have on a loop that are continually happening in the background of your mind. And what I want you to understand is that they are always there. So, whatever your core beliefs are, if you believe you're not good enough, if you're not smart enough, if you feel like you are, that money is hard to get, that being successful is only for somebody else, or any of those types of things, your core belief will be the thing that is generating the thoughts that are running on a loop in your mind. So much of what our decision is for our group and what we're doing here is we are learning and progressing and growing into women who are able to pivot and redirect and recreate our thoughts, our feelings, our choices, our actions, and ultimately creating the life that we're meant to have. We are supposed to be co-creators with the divine. We are supposed to be co-creators and making things that are meant to happen and creating the life that is great. And that's what our thoughts are there for. They are an incredible power. And the way it works is this, is that, I've said this to you many, many times, but I'm going to repeat it here. We're born with 25 billion neurons. We have, by the time we are anywhere between 2 and 7 years old, because it's not exactly clear, we have 1.5 quadrillion synaptic connections, which are the connections between the neurons that are developed through the belief system or the meaning that we've attached to all these micro events that have come into our brain through our 5 senses. Our 5 senses do not move as fast as the speed of light, but our thoughts move faster than the speed of light. Our thoughts, therefore, have more power than the data that is coming into our body. So mostly you hear people say, if I see it, I'll believe it. Well, that's a very, very kind of non-educated statement, because seeing is not actually believing. Seeing something doesn't actually mean it's true. So, because our senses, the way we take in information is so slow, it's on a level that's not as fast as all of the things that are happening around us, that is actually unseen, unheard, unfelt, untasted, untouched, all of that. So, we need to reimagine the way that we think about information, the way we think about how we see things, we feel things, we talk about things, the way we think. So this week is about being a person who thinks about what they think about. And, as we talk about what is our mantra, what is our mission, basically we're awake and aware, meaning that we're aware of what is happening inside of us so that therefore we can change. The only way, the only pathway to freedom is truth. So knowing the truth about what you're thinking about and being honest with yourself about what those thoughts are without judgment, and keeping it current in the moment, being aware of what I'm thinking. So this week is about, you're going to write an exhaustive list of all the things that you're thinking about. And they may be really, really crappy things, but you want to not beat yourself up for it. You want to know it because most thoughts that are happening are just running in the background. They're the landscape. Interesting. You see how these trees in the background, they're in my landscape. I did not plan this, by the way, but it's a good segue. You know, they're all back there. I can be talking to you and not even see those trees. We're living in landscapes that we don't even know are there. It's like apps running in the background that are draining our energy. So what I have told you before is that with all the plethora of thoughts that we're thinking every day, 75,000 thoughts, maybe even more, 91% of them they're repeated and they're the same thoughts you thought yesterday. What we want to do is we want to get them out on paper. We want to know, what are you repeating over and over again? What is your thought loop? And you're not going to judge yourself for it. You're just going to accept it because we're using that as the data. I'm trying to get better lighting so I can, see you guys. Oh, that's better. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Landscape's different. I pivoted. Ladies, I pivoted. This is cool. Looks better, right? Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to write an exhaustive list about that, right? Then what we're going to do is, after we write that exhaustive list, every single day, you're going to be aware of where you want to be that day, that week, that month, that year. You want to know what your vision is, what your dreams are. Now, I don't want you to overthink this because we're going to get to a point where you're going to know exactly what your thoughts are about, what your feelings are about your vision and where you want to be in your life, how you want to show up every day. So if you want to know each day, we're going to go through the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're going to know what it is that you want to happen that week. How do you want to show up each day? What is the cumulative effect of each day of this week that you're going to be aware of to produce a result by the end of the week? Okay? It could be by the end of the month or the year. So then you're going to take a look at those thoughts that are on a loop and you're going to ask yourself a serious question. You're going to be honest with yourself. The quality of our life is dependent upon the quality of the questions we ask ourselves. That's why people go to therapy a lot of the time, is because we should be, actually, not everybody is, but we want to be expert question askers. People who ask the right questions that produce the right thinking and the right answers. So ask yourself the question, is this thought that's on this loop producing what it is meant to produce in my life? Because thoughts create. So we want to ask ourselves, is this thought of any value to me? Is this thought producing what is good? What is the fruit of this thought? And then you make a decision in that moment, because we're always in the now. We're in the truth and we're in the now, in the present. And we say, okay, does this align with my identity and who I want to be and what my purpose is on this earth? If it does not, okay, if it does not, you will pivot. You will shift away from that thought. You're not going to spend time on it. You're just going to see it and know it. You're not going to be like overwhelmed by it. Oh my God, I can't believe I keep thinking this. This is horrible. No, it's actually not horrible. It's the best damn thing you've ever done because you finally looked at what the hell is going on in your mind. We need to know what's going on in our minds in order to change our minds. We need to be in charge of our mind instead of our mind being in charge of us. That is the way to change our lives. So now you're going to pivot and you're going to create new thoughts. Be creative with it. Actually say a thought that you want to think and then pivot from the old thought, and you're going to repeatedly think a different thought that you've created. And then when you think that thought, what you're going to do is stay with it, because that thought, you're now firing in your brain that thought, which means that you're not firing the other thought. And when you're not firing the other thought, repetition over and over and over again produces something. It always produces something. So what you want to know is, what is this repetition producing for me? Because what will happen is that the old repetition has produced the life that you have right now in the areas that you don't want. So we're not following it anymore. Today's commitment and this week's commitment is, I'm not following thoughts that are creating things I don't want, that are not in line with my identity and who I want to be and who I've been made to be. I'm not doing that anymore. That's a decision. We're going to talk next week about decision, because decision is connected to thought. It's the same thing. Decision is a thought, but it's powerful. It's a power move. What we're doing today, this week, is a power move. Okay? You found out your beliefs. You found out your feelings. Now, and you pivoted. and you're taking charge of those things. You're taking charge of the beliefs. You're seeing them. You're aware of them, and you're shifting from them, and you're not letting them run your life. You're taking charge. You're looking at your feelings. You're seeing them. You're seeing them truth. Then you're pivoting from them, creating something